Hello, YouTube. This is Mage Power here coming to you. I need to catch up a bit on some of the news that has dropped over the past week or so. And so I'm going to be starting here with Magikeys. This is probably the oldest that I haven't caught up on. Magikeys from Dawn of Majesty is an upcoming set in the OCG. I've heard a little bit about this deck, but I have not read through these cards, so this actually will be a live reaction. I know they've done some stuff with fusion tuners. I've heard stuff like that, but I don't know much beyond that. Anyways, getting in, so we have a vanilla monster right off the bat. This is a level 4 Dark Warrior type normal monster. Okay, Dark Warrior is pretty good. It's 1900, so this actually is officially the new strongest vanilla in terms of both attack and defense. Before, there was a Noble Knight that was like 1800, something like that. So, this actually could see relevant play as far as that goes. Every person is brimming with potential. To go or to stop, to close or to open, depends on yourself. There are many doors in this dazzling world. What opens them is a magical key. 2 keys in one door, 2 wills in one form. If the door is opened, the world shall be connected, and an enormous power shall reveal itself. Okay. Feel free, I should have mentioned to skip the next few seconds. If that's what you wanted, you could have read that yourself. Looks like a ritual. Okay. Level 4 Dark Machine Ritual Tuner Effect Monster. Okay. Ritual Tuner, that's new. Dark Ritual, or Dark Machine though. Have we had Dark Machines before? I feel like we have. Yes, Dark Machine is the... There's been a couple of those. Attack 2000, defense 2200. You can ritual summon this card with Magikeys. However you say that word. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn, so it's a hard once per turn. If this card is ritual summoned, you can add a Magikeys card from your deck to your hand. Okay, it searches. That's pretty good. And it's card, not like monster or spell. It's generic search. That's good. Once per turn, when an attack is declared involving this card and an opponent's monster with the same attribute as a normal monster or Magikeys monster in your graveyard. Okay. So we have dark, I see down here we have an earth, but okay, are we going to get a ton of different attributes then? You can place any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, negate that opponent's monster's effects until the end of the turn, then draw cards equal to the number of cards you placed. Okay, so it lets you fix your hand in the battle phase, which is cute, but overall... this doesn't need to really be here. This will see play for this effect alone, I believe. Assuming Magikeys sees play. But this card, obviously being a generic search, if this is a ritual-based deck, this is going to be a very good card for the deck, regardless of this effect. Continuing on, we have a level 8 Earth Machine Ritual. 2000, 2800. Magikeys Cannon Garrisvet. You can only ritual summon this card with Magikeys. I think that's Maftea. I would take a guess that that's how you say that. You can only use the second and third effects of this card's name once per turn each. Gains 300 attack for each monster attribute in your graveyard. Okay, so in theory, if you load up your graveyard and you have 6 monsters in your graveyard with different attributes, that would be a bonus of up to 1800 attack, bringing this up to a maximum potential of 3800. That's pretty big. I'm not saying you're going to get there, but you know, if you get 2 or 3, that's still 6 to 900 each, which is 26 to 2900. That's decent. When your opponent activates the effect of a monster with the same attribute as a monster in your graveyard, and you control this ritual summoned using... What? When your opponent activates the effect of a monster with the same attribute as a monster in your graveyard, and you control this card ritual summoned using 2 monsters with 2 or more attributes. Okay, quick effect. You can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that monster. So essentially, if you use 2 monsters with different attributes to summon this card, this has a quick effect to negate the activation of a monster with the same type. With the same attribute. Interesting, but I don't know that that's going to be that relevant. We'll see how. It's probably going to be a format dependent thing. If this ritual summoned card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Magikey monster from your deck to your hand. Okay, so it replaces itself, at least if it leaves the field. That's not bad. I don't necessarily love this card though. And then we have a Fusion Dark Beast Fusion Tutor effect monster. Requires 1 Magikey monster and 1 non-token normal monster. Okay, so this is where we're starting to get into needing this. Okay. I would imagine that Unexpected Die would go alongside this pretty well. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is fusion summoned, you can add 1 Magikey Maftea from your deck to your hand. So it searches the ritual spell. I'm assuming it's the ritual spell because it's been mentioned in the ritual monsters. Once per turn, you can target 1 opponent's attack position monster with the same attribute as a normal monster or Magikey monster in your graveyard. Change it to defense position, and if you do, it loses 1,000 defense. This is so out of place. Why? Like, woo, changing things to defense and making them lose defense is so relevant nowadays. Ooh. Why is this here? I don't get it. And then, third effect, banish any monster destroyed by battle with this card. Okay, that's not terrible, but the effect to search the ritual spell is decent. The effect to banish is decent. This could have been such a different effect. Like, with links nowadays, there are some monsters you can't even change to defense. Like, why? This is out of date on a new card. Like, why? We have a wind monster, Wind Dragon fusion effect monster, Magikeys summon Dragon Androbimus. Attack 2800, defense 2000, requires a Magikey effect monster and a non-token normal monster. When fusion summoned, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects. Okay. Once per turn, you can target 1 normal monster or Magikey monster in your graveyard. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls with the same attribute. Okay. Feels a bit tribe-esque, but attribute-based. I guess that's not terrible. Once per turn, if an opponent's monster or monsters with the same attribute as a monster in your graveyard is destroyed by battle or card effects and you control the fusion summoned card using monsters with 2 or more attributes as material, you can draw 1 card. Okay, that's pretty good. Overall, this is actually pretty good. I like this card. That's a pretty good card. Moving on, we have Magikey Maftea. This is the ritual spell, I'm assuming. No, it is a normal spell card. Fusion summon 1 Magikey fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material, or ritual summon 1 Magikey ritual monster from your hand by attributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster. Okay. So it can fusion or ritual summon. That's interesting, at least. If you control a normal monster, you can also send a normal monster from your deck to the grave as fusion material or as one of the monsters required for the ritual summon. Okay. I almost feel like this is starting to become a deck that could play different normal monsters. You don't necessarily have to play this one. I feel like you could almost play like a water normal monster, and you could play a fire, or you could play a wind, or you could even play something like Angel Trumpeter. I think would be an interesting choice, since it's also a tuner. There's some interesting ways to go with this. Then we have a field spell, Magikeys Unsealing. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. You can only use the third effect once per turn. When this card resolves, you can add one Magikeys monster from your deck to your hand. When this card resolves, that's different. Okay, so you activate it and it does nothing initially, and then it resolves, and then you add? So, can you even Ash Blossom that? That's a different wording. But being able to search any Magikeys monster with a field spell is pretty good. The first time each normal monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect each turn, except tokens, it's not destroyed. Sure, fine. During your main phase, you can add one Magikeys Maptea from your deck to your hand, then place one card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. Okay, so it can both get you a Magikeys monster and get you a Magikeys Maptea. And the only cost is that you have to return a card from your hand to the bottom of the deck. So you can get both this and any one of these that you want. That field spell. This is broken. This card is a one card combo, basically, it feels like. Then we have a normal trap card. Connected Magikeys. Target a normal monster or Magikeys monster in your graveyard. Add it to your hand, then you can apply one of these effects. Fusion summon a Magikeys fusion monster from your extra deck in defense using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. Or ritual summon one. Okay, so this is a trap card that lets you fusion or ritual summon. Sure, cool, fine. And then we have a counter trap card, Magikeys Lock Unlock. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. When your opponent activates a spell or trap card while you control a Magikeys ritual monster or a Magikeys monster special summoned from the extra deck. Okay, that's interesting. It says special summon from the extra deck. It doesn't say fusion summoned or anything. So that could imply we could get synchros in the future. We could get XYZs in the future. So this could apply. We could be getting a few different summoning mechanics for this deck. Negate the activation, and if you do destroy that card, then you can declare one attribute, and if you do, all face-up monsters your opponent controls become the declared attribute until the end of the turn. There we go. This is actually a good card because this can turn on some of these other cards. You know, for example, this effect right here. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls with the same attribute. If you have this and you have this, and you can make everything a dark, you know, assuming you have something like this in your grave, you can then come down here, you can have this on the field, turn everything to dark, destroy everything with this effect. Interesting. So that is Magikeys. Overall, I do like this. I think there's definitely at least some potential here. I think there's probably some merit to playing this one, but I'm also thinking something like Trumpeter, Angel Trumpeter, or other normal monsters will probably see some at least testing play, because this does seem to work with normal monsters in general. So we will see how this evolves over time, but overall, not bad. I like this. I think when this comes out onto Dueling Book, you might see me at least test this out for a little bit. Anyways, if you did enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment for the YouTube algorithm. Before I go, I do have to do my shout out again for Chill Hop Radio. All the content creators that you want to have these background music that you have right here, This is lo-fi, jazz, hip-hop, etc. And they're wonderful people who they basically have allowed any creator to use their music as long as you credit them appropriately. So the link to Chill Hop is down below in the description. So feel free, check them out. I do appreciate everything they're doing in the time that we have with DCMA and everything. Anyways, this has been United We Stand, in Mage Power We Trust.